Hey there everyone, and welcome back to Corey Loses, where today we are once again continuing our Thrawn's Revenge Imperial Civil War 2.2 preview playthrough as the Imperial Remnant. In the last episode, we kind of took that, this northern area. I'll just pause this. A lot of this northern area, we came through and took a line out of the Greater Maldrude territory. We got all the way up to Meridoon, which we're going to invade soon. I'm just setting over some orbital forces so we can use bombing run and orbital bombardment in the battle. We have Thrawn sitting here getting ready to go into Q-Trick and take out one of the SSDs that Zinch has, because it seems like he has an SSD here, and then Iron Fist itself is down in this area. So we're actually kind of cut off from Iron Fist right now, but what I'd like to do is take Meridoon, Findar, and Mandalore, and then kind of squeeze into this territory. I want to leave enough space for them to fight each other a little bit, so we can continue to build up our fleet and get ready to fight the New Republic. Because I do want to have up to this area taken by the time we get to Era 4, so Dala is not stranded. But for now, let's get that going. We've got these guys going up here, because I think once all those fighters are in the fleet, Thrawn and his little fleet here should be enough to take out Q-Trick. I am going to get another... let's actually get Terror Squadron back, let's get Last Resort back, and Ace of Hearts. And let's get another one of them. Let's go... We are going to get Kuat back at this during this episode as well, if we can swing it. But where... Okay, so Brental and Kardar are building up everything we need there. Camp. Going to pause again quickly. Oh.
TIE Defender standing by.
Let's get the rest of our frigates in here. So we need Terminus, City of Angels, Oblivion, and Bad Omen. Bad Omen just added this episode. So let's check out Q-Trick there. Just gonna keep building up a good force of probe droids, but we should be good to go into Meridoon here. We only have 3 structures here, and this is, I believe, the Seleucami map. So it's not a huge one. We don't have any artillery. For some reason I thought we had our... Oh no, they died in the last episode, didn't they? We did have artillery in this one.
Awaiting orders.
But let's start off by sending our guys up to here. There are going to be a few other new textures that you can probably notice in this map. Let's get an AT-AT in there, an IDT, and some Nova Troopers. So I'm going to grab an AI turret just in case they kind of walk through. I'm going to send you guys up here. But we're going to get... Is that going to be enough to take that over? No. Just got out of range. Can I take both at the same time? Can we... Oh, look at the big plays right there. Alright, they're going back into the base a little bit. So we're kind of in a weird place with the Let's Play build here, where... some of the AI changes from the scripts folder are actually in place that Bob's been working on, whereas some of the XML-based AI changes aren't going to be in the Let's Play just because it doesn't load with the save. So you'll probably notice a couple different behavior changes, but ultimately it's fairly similar to what it's been through most of the playthrough so far. You can see we removed the shielding from these guys. Okay, you can get just back in there.
Yes, Commander. Copy.
But overall, the AI makes a lot more reasonable decisions about what it's gonna. It's a lot more aggressive if you're playing on hard, for one thing. So it can be a bit of a pain, but it also builds a lot more consistently. So the things that it's building make a lot more sense. And the like it'll use things like corporations, it'll build the faction capitals, basically all the new features that are in Thrawn's Revenge. Bob has sort of updated it to take advantage of, and a lot of the stuff that's been removed from Thrawn's Revenge, the AI no longer thinks is there, which is one of the things that was kind of holding them back before, was they were looking for certain vanilla functions that didn't exist anymore, and that would stop them from being able to accomplish certain things.
Destination set.
But these T-16s are not going to be bullseye and wall perhaps very long. Let's grab our other AT-AT and a couple in here. I think there was another planet in this area. Was it Bandamir that actually used Seleucami map as well? So that's the kind of thing where we do want to reduce repetition of maps, where really there's really there's not more than 2 planets used per map out of 250. So in a map like Empire's End, you have about 150 planets, 140 planets, and so there'd be plenty of non-repeating maps. But if you were to do a map with even every planet in the mod, you wouldn't have that much repetition. The only thing that can make it seem a bit more repetitive is because some of the times, actually I think there's some planets that do use a 3rd copy of the map. But ultimately, the goal is to make it so that even where there is a bit of repetition, the planets are a bit more spaced out, so you're less likely to come across the same map as often. And long-term, Rogue has been working on a lot of map conversions, map editing, and new maps in order to make it so that we can have as many unique maps as possible across all the planets. I don't know how realistic it is that we'd be able to get every planet with its own map, because that, again, 250, and they take about 40 hours for one map. On average, it can vary. If you're doing like a temperate map, it's a bit easier, a bit quicker. If you're doing an urban map, that can take even longer. But that's the average time length. So, I would like to do a couple more maps myself, but really, Rogue is the one that's going to be doing a lot of the mapping, and has been doing a lot of the mapping. So, all that kind of stuff depends on resources. All right, but let's get Koval over to this this barracks over here. We've got a couple stormtroopers trying to make their way around, so you know what? Drop in here. I believe that Meridoon was only taken by the by Meldrude fairly recently. All right, that's still going around.
Order, sir.
Choose your reinforcements.
Right away.
Anti-crawlers.
Reporting. Cannons charged.
Here, you are a little far back.
On my
Oh,
way.
you're kind of stuck.
Bombardment available.
All right,
Attack.
get that guy, and there you go.
Walker.
You know, if you're... Here we go. Thank you.
Planetary control achieved.
All right.
Building started.
I'm not going to build the turbo lasers here. So let's check out Bindar. We've got our fleet coming up there. How's this doing? Pretty well.
Reporting.
Is there even the executor there? There's not. Well, hold on then. What do we got? What are we working with? 15 VSDs. Only 4 capital ships. But then we really only have 4 or 5 ourselves. We have a couple vendors. You know what? I think we might be able to handle this.
AT-AT ready. Of course.
We have a couple Lancers. I'm going to try to be a little bit conservative with them.
Tactical battle imminent.
If we can actually take Q-Trick and... Is it Corvus Minor or Vercinri? I think we have Vercinri. We need Corvus Minor. So we'll try to take back the Q-Trick hegemony this episode if we can as well. That'd be a good short-term goal for us. The Lancer model's actually very close to getting redone. So see it here. It's a pretty old model. So Sleverd has been redoing the geometry, and now either Slypair, myself, Sleverd, or Dr. Knickers will get to doing the texture. That's what that's called.
En route.
So we also know why now the Fog of War would always lift, and we used to not really care because it was we kind of prefer the game without the Fog of War in space, and having more options to remove it on land. So we're still trying to determine whether we're going to keep it that way or not. In the main build, the Lucrehulk's fighters are spawning. I think they're still off here. So basically what happens is, because there's the raid fleet is counted as a faction in this. Because the raid fleet faction thinks it's losing, it clears the fog of war. Typically the game would wait until a bit later on when
Thrawn reporting.
Attack formation. Go after the stragglers.
when the actual faction that you're playing against, the actual AI faction, thinks it's losing. But
Admiral Thrawn reporting.
just because of the raid fleet being there and thinking they're losing,
Attack position.
it ends up clearing right away.
Laser cannons.
So Bob has removed that. If we're going to,
Lasers are our target.
we're still thinking about reinstating that in a different way that's not reliant on that AI issue, but
Do you have something to report?
alright. We seem to be like halfway outside the response range for some of these things.
I'm ready. Fire at will.
Alright, so I was kind of holding back some of our forces just to see what they would do, but
Coming around.
let's get them in, help these guys out a bit.
Target priority is the laser cannons.
There, Bellum Totalis on that side, Galactic Fried Chicken,
What is it you want?
Thrawn.
Calculating
I don't know if your
attack.
range is, yeah, you're gonna have to just focus on this. And Devastator, you can
Engaging the
get that as well. Let's get Stout-Hearted in as well.
coordinates.
And it's Treason then. I think we can afford to throw in one Lancer. I don't think they're gonna blow it up.
Choose your reinforcements.
I think I do want to increase the response range for their guarding stuff, so you're less likely to have it where like half the force goes to respond. And we kind of want to add in another behavior where if there's another unit being attacked within that range, instead of just being within that range of the station, it'll also move to respond to that.
Reporting in.
I'm on this one. Target critical. Under control.
Alright, so
It's coming around.
stand. I don't remember putting that in, but apparently I did while I was talking, and I'm kind of scared now. Okay, binders going down.
Order confirmed.
Once the Lucre Hulk has its actual
On our way.
fighter complement there, that's going to be a bit more difficult,
Awaiting
but
your command. We've got them on scopes.
Go after them.
Copy that.
Spartan's
Enemies in range.
Pride. Let's get Catamount in here, and let's throw in some acclimators. People like acclimators, right?
Your command, sir.
Thrawn's combat bonus is so good. There have been some people asking what people's specific combat bonuses are, and actually, if you have the manual or you go to mod database for the mod database page for Imperial Civil War, there's a link to download the manual if you don't have it already, and there's a bunch of appendices. One of them is actually a full listing of all the combat bonuses for all the heroes, and that's going to be updated for 2.2 as well. So if you're ever wondering exactly how much of a bonus you're getting from heroes, that's a good place to check. We do want to put more of that information in-game as well, though. So with 2.2, where's Thrawn? So you can see here, he's Command Tier 1. So Akbar and Thrawn are actually the only Tier 1 commanders. So that's a standardized bonus. And then they'll have additional traits which sort of act as modifiers on that base bonus. So you could say have Thrawn, let's say Thrawn was a Commander Tier 1 who also had the Reckless trait. So let's say the Commander Tier 1 standard bonus was like 20% health, 20% speed, 20%,
There will be no survivors.
20% damage, 20% everything. And then he had that Reckless trait, which would Reckless would decrease your defenses. So instead of being a 20% standard level 1 or tier 1 command bonus, you'd just take 5% off of that for defense. So we want to have it so that once people are a little more familiar with it, they can say, okay, command tier 1, I know what that means, and then these these additional modifiers keep it standardized but allow you to have the differences between all your characters. And I think, or we think that's a pretty good way to handle it, so that people kind of always know what's going on. Because in 2.15, it was like, okay, so I have this giant puffy orange ring, and a lot of people didn't even know what that meant. So we figured that needed to be updated a little bit.
Yes, Commander.
But we've got the Q-Trick fleet down. We didn't really lose much here either. I'm kind of sad that the Zinj Executor wasn't there. I don't know if they were going for another battle with Maldrud or something, but that would be my guess.
We are victorious.
Alright. So we lost his treason then and a Lancer, but we killed a lot of stuff.
Construction complete.
Do we want to even just go up? No, we don't. No, we don't. We want to go through Findar, because that's basically left it.
Heading to destination.
As long as they don't come through this way, which they may want to do.
Tactical battle imminent.
Oh, transitory mists. Ooh boy. Well, rip transitory
System
mists.
lost. Tactical battle imminent.
Findar space. Oh, they actually got an ISD there as well. A couple ISDs. Alright, so as far as when we're going to get to Palpatine, I think we're going to go for it soon, because I do want to make sure we can get through all the leaders before we finish the GC. But we're not quite at a point with our credits yet where we can afford to get him. I think we're just going to save up for him and go straight in for it. But I don't know if that's the wisest choice, because we do need to expand our forces a little bit more.
Proceeding.
There they are. Blast them.
Alright, let's get the inevitable in down here.
At once.
Well, I think I've talked about this like every episode now, but it's come up basically every episode in the comments on why the Executor is the size it is. And well, it'll probably get a little bit bigger. Basically, the reason that it's not to scale like all the... So basically, any unit up to the size of the Allegiance, we have it scaled properly, or as close to properly as we can get against each other. And there's going to be another pass before release where we adjust some of those numbers, because some of the models, when they got exported, were exported at slightly different sizes compared to what they were before. So that's going to be a thing we have to adjust a little bit before release. But essentially, up to 2200 meters, everything is meant to be correct, and is basically correct. But after that point, because of how Empire at War handles pathfinding, we tend to give it diminishing returns on every extra bit of length that it has. So the Executor, we could probably go a little bit longer. The main reason for this is pathfinding, because if you try to tell the larger ships to move around, it's very rare that they'll actually do the thing you want them to, and the bigger they are, the more of an issue that becomes. So that's essentially why the Executor is the size it is, rather than the full 1900 or 19 kilometers. So you can probably expect it to get 10, maybe 15% bigger, but we don't want to get to a point where it's like any command you give it, it starts spinning. And so like you can sort of see, I think the Eclipse, we were able to get a little bit extra length around it, and we'll probably be able to make the Executor around the same size as the Eclipse is. But with the Eclipse, it's not even the length that makes it seem slightly bigger than the Executor is, it's just the fact that it's so bulky. But we do need them to be a similar length, because the Executor should be I think the Eclipse is supposed to be 17,000 or 17 kilometers versus 19,000 for the Executor. So we do need to try to get them a bit closer. But especially with 2.2, with stuff like the Bellator getting introduced, the Praetor, which was in before, but you have more ships in that sort of size range. You have more stuff in that above 2200 meter that kind of makes it feel a little bit smaller for the larger stuff, because they are disproportionately shorter than they should be. And we do need to sort of find ways to counteract that.
Invasion commencing.
Whereas before it wasn't as obvious, because there was like, it was very rare that you'd go above that, like the ISD's 1600 meters up to the Executor. Whereas now it's like the Executor is supposed to be over twice as long as the Bellator, but just because of how things have to be scaled to work in EAW, that's not always super feasible.
Moving to that area, sir.
Alright, so we've got That was a pretty easy space battle, so didn't feel like there was anything I needed to say that I was doing there. But we're gonna get this
We've secured a landing zone.
this landing zone. We're gonna drop our ATST or ATATs in
On my
here.
way, sir.
I'm gonna get all 3
Right away.
again. And I know there's a mine up there, so let's get that mine. Let's get the sensor node over here. And we're gonna start our ATATs walking in towards the base as well.
The enemy is approaching.
Oh god.
Awaiting orders.
Yes, Commander. Affirmative, sir. As you wish, General. Reporting.
Ready. Keep going.
We've captured an abandoned sensor
Alright,
array.
that's cool. Getting our mine. Let's
Reinforcements cancelled.
Setting course.
drop some of them there.
We've captured an abandoned mining facility.
Right away.
Mining facility destroyed.
Yes, sir. This way.
Yes, Commander. Right away.
Alright, let's get walking in. You know what?
Moving out.
Kaval,
Fire!
you have power to weapons, and it's turned away from you, so you can probably get in there before anything bad happens. There's really not much here. So we can just take out this turbo laser, we'll take out the shield, or the power generator, and then we'll go into the base. We won't have to deal with these. Alright. This is why I dropped all 3 of you, so you could all actually shoot it. But,
AT-AT ready. You men take the flank.
Moving to secondary position.
alright, good job, Kaval.
Armored transport ready.
You can head up into the
Roger.
base. Okay, you got it. We only lost one of the TIE crawlers, so we keep the company.
Battalion standing by. Reporting in.
I'm gonna keep you guys walking out this way. And I only want Kaval going up here.
Form up. Let's move out.
Reporting in.
Okay, kill the troopers and then back off. You don't need to deal with the fire there. Speaking of fire there.
Moving out. Roger that.
Bombing run
Okay,
available.
stay a bit farther away.
Awaiting your order.
I'm gonna use the bombing run on this. On the... Not infantry factory, the barracks is what that's called.
Open fire.
Oh, we got even more.
More ready.
Let's run them over.
Roll out. Copy. Keep going.
Stop it. One of the next things that I'm going to be doing is just importing the AT-AT model, because Knickers wants to fix the weird animation bug thing there if he can, and I think he also wants to do a bit of an upgrade on some of the geometry and the texture for the AT-AT. Let's just watch the legs there. Yeah, that's nice. That's interesting.
The enemy base shield is offline.
Yeah, so there should be, I don't think that's going to be done in time for 2.2.
Attack run.
Well, maybe.
I copy.
We still got the better part of a month.
Attacking target.
But
Commencing bombing run.
that is one of the things that he's been talking about doing for a while. A lot of the ground units I think I've talked about in the videos are going to be getting upgraded in some way. Right. So we need to destroy those. Do we have to destroy the...
Covering fire.
Yeah, we have to actually destroy the
Fire at will.
shield generator.
Covering fire. Over there.
I always forget whether we change that or not. Every episode. It's a nice tradition to have here, I think.
System conquered.
Alright,
Building started.
that's good.
Cruiser reporting.
Mandalore.
Unit in production.
Get 2 of those guys.
Ready to go.
You know what? Vandermeer and Mandalore. You don't need to keep using much over there.
Ready.
See, I want to send these ground units over, but they'd have to go all the way up here, round and down. I'm assuming we're going to draw in the attention of that executor at some point. No, actually they took Farai Junction, because this was Maldrude territory. What are we looking at there? Ooh, that's a decent fleet.
Move out.
Constructing.
All right, let's keep upgrading our stuff.
Building under construction.
Mauler Ready.
Tactical battle imminent.
65,000. Okay, so we can actually get the upgrade started, and then maybe next episode we'll be able to get into Shadowhand.
Look, sir, it's them.
All right. Wow, that is close.
Gun crews report in.
Choose your
All right. Do we want to get our SSD in here? Oh wow. Kind of a weird orientation, but will we be able to like navigate up there if we do this?
All ahead full.
Give it a shot. And where do we want to put the rest of our forces then?
All sections at your command, my lord.
We're gonna kind of fight them off that way. We're gonna head into.
Engaging the enemy. At once.
Go after
All
the
batteries commence
stragglers.
firing. Fire at will. Engaging the enemy.
Regroup.
Can you actually orient up that way?
All ahead full.
If not, I'll just retreat and come back.
At once.
They're coming. Quick.
We'll have to jump in a different way. Looks like you're making it. Okay, so that's okay.
More enemy.
Let's get
Target locked.
Let's move out.
Randai
Detected.
or Dorja. Let's get regular ISD2. Let's get some support
Coming
ships in.
about. Taking fire.
Moving to sector. Proceeding. Reporting.
I've got them in
Full
my
speed.
sights.
So we can take out this allegiance while it's just right in this corner.
Superstar.
And I kind of want to take out the station as soon as possible.
They're hitting us.
Because our little ships here should be enough to take out that allegiance now that it's got all the support went up to the goal and
All batteries commence firing.
Getting a
Star
lock.
Destroyer reporting in.
Superstar destroyer ready.
Yes,
Ready,
Commander.
go.
Move out. We shall be there shortly.
I'm losing. Ready to receive.
get some bombers over to you.
Awaiting orders. Attack.
Actually, I don't know if that's even necessary.
Awaiting your
Looks like we're
orders.
actually getting some of our forces around.
All sections at your command.
Alright, they're all going to start respawning now.
Fire at will.
We're pretty low on shields for the SSD.
Watch your back. Falling out of formation.
Fire laser fire.
Draw their fire.
Awaiting your command. The lasers are our target.
Attack formation.
Your command, sir.
No, you're
Right
you're
away.
leaving the map.
Moving out.
Superstar destroyer ready.
I got one. Pursuing enemy forces.
BSDs are really good against super ships.
Locking on.
They just do so much anti-heavy damage.
Engaging the enemy. All batteries commence firing. Fire at will. All ahead full.
Alright, let's try to focus on those guys getting down then.
Commander, heading out.
Your shields are low,
Reporting in. Fall
but
out.
we should be getting in a little bit.
Batteries online.
All sections at your command, my lord.
It'll be kind of rough, but I think we should be okay with this.
Weapons ready.
Carrot Commander here. All gun crews report in.
Superstar destroyer ready.
The shields aren't holding.
All batteries commence firing.
Our launch bay has been
With.
destroyed. Commander, they're hitting us.
Engaging the enemy. All batteries
Alright,
commence
it's
firing.
backing off, so let's
Comlink active.
Roger that.
no, you guys, you're getting like body blocked by that guy.
All sections at your command, my lord.
Falling out of
Choose
formation.
your reinforcements.
Draw their fire. Attack formation.
If I jump you in up here, are you gonna be safe-ish? Yeah, I guess we can drop in another BSD and Carrick up there.
Destroyer here.
Watch for enemy ships.
Superstar destroyer ready.
Losing. Taking fire. Our shields are down.
I copy.
Right, your shield should be up.
Primary engine system is
Keep
down.
going. This way. Over there. Moving to
Under
coordinates.
control.
See, this is what I'm talking about with pathfinding, with any kind of like super ship involved.
Turbo laser
'Cause
battery.
it doesn't even want to navigate past that.
All sections at your command, my lord. Fire at will. Engaging the enemy.
destroyer reporting in.
Engines are
Attack
malfunctioning.
that target.
My scopes are
Super
jammed.
Star Destroyer ready. All batteries commence firing. Fire at will.
Our shields are down.
I mean, if our other forces don't want to get up
Our engines are gone, sir. Yes,
past here, then we might end up losing one or both of our little ISD heroes here.
coming around.
Which, I mean, we're going to be,
Target priority is
when we go to the next era, they wouldn't have come along with us anyways, but still.
the lasers are our target.
All sections at your command, my lord. All batteries commence firing. Fire at will.
Our lasers are destroyed.
Formation.
Awaiting your orders.
Reporting. Draw their fire.
Awaiting your command.
Super Star Destroyer ready. Engaging the enemy.
Shields
Your
almost
command,
gone.
sir. Heading to destination. Fire at will.
You're just taking forever to get anywhere useful.
The lasers have been destroyed. The shields aren't holding.
I don't know what Brandi and Dorja ever did to
The iron cannons
this
are
ISD, but apparently it has something against them and wanted them to die.
All batteries commence
Oh well.
firing.
Commander, we're moving out.
That's annoying.
Full speed. Move out.
All sections at your command, my lord. Fire at will. Engaging the enemy.
Blasted scum. Watch for enemy ships.
Our target priority is the laser.
But since we're going for Era 3 anyways,
Destroyer ready.
again, they wouldn't have come with us, so
Fire.
The lasers are our target.
long term it won't be that much of a difference.
Enemies
Targeting.
in range.
All sections at your command, my lord. Yes, my lord.
Because this is the last space battle in that, well, I guess there's Bandamir, but I don't think they have much of Bandamir. We got Mandalore. We're going to be using Thrawn's fleet in the middle of this, so we'll have to build these guys back up a little bit, but we took out a fair bit there.
Construction
Let's
complete.
get in.
Right away.
Let's check out Bandamir.
Construction complete.
So this is actually going to be something of a battle.
Construction complete.
Yeah, that's not much.
Construction complete.
All right. Do we wait for? No, they're gonna want to counter here. So let's just go in as soon as we can. I mean, we've talked about the patron ISDs betraying us, but like that was just flagrant disregard for orders.
Form up.
Alright, so this is one of the split Mandalore maps. Or, this is the edited Mandalore map, where it's more of a reasonable size.
Sensor node constructing.
Coordinates
Construction
received.
complete.
Still quite large, but much more reasonable.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
You still have a fair amount of different pathways to choose from.
Copy. Squad, move out. Right away, sir. Squad, advance.
Sensor node constructing.
I copy.
Construction complete. We've
For
secured the
sensors,
landing
we've
zone.
got the or not ISD, the ground ISD, you know.
Reporting.
AT-AT coming
Choose your
in.
Reinforcements.
Destination.
Another
set.
AT-AT coming in. Let's get these guys going.
Right away. Yes, Commander. Follow my lead. Affirmative, sir. Provide necessary backup.
Order acknowledged.
Sensor node constructing.
Reporting.
Construction complete.
Take out any stragglers.
This was entirely unnecessary considering we just built one right
Sensor
there.
node has been sold.
But I like what I like. And I like sensor nodes.
Move out.
We've secured a landing zone.
Copy. Yes, Commander. Keep your eyes on your scanners.
Where do we have... You know what? Let's,
Inbound,
Inbound.
sir.
Bombardment
Right away.
available.
Ready. I've got them on scopes.
Support order acknowledged.
Ready. Follow my lead.
We'll back you
Provide
up.
necessary backup. There they are.
Still very tanky little tanks. Reduced their health quite a bit, but apparently not as much as I thought.
Moving to that area, sir.
The enemy base shield is offline.
Setting course.
Reinforcements en route. Heading out.
Let's do a little bit of scouting and see
Sensor node constructing. Construction complete.
what there is and where it is.
Fallout troops.
Just see if there's anything capturable. Capturable stuff can be free money, it can be free vision, free units. It's a whole wide world of free stuff. Alright, there we go. The super sensor node.
We've secured an abandoned sensor array.
Alright, it looks like we're okay if we
On my way, sir.
want to make an assault on the base here. Let's
Unit capacity.
drop some stuff in there. And did they have an advanced vehicle factory or just heavies? Advanced. Like right on the edge. Here we go. Alright, let's speed up.
Roger that.
AT-AT
Let's
ready.
go in the front with these guys, and these guys are going to go in the side.
Armor transport ready.
Acknowledged.
Reporting in.
Moving to secondary
Destination
position.
set. Roger that.
Guys,
Excellent.
get up
suggestion.
this way.
Laying suppressive fire.
You guys
Deploying.
go for these
Clearing my
guys.
sights. Form up.
Take out any stragglers.
Providing
Keep
backup.
your eyes on your
Okay,
scanners.
why are
Right
they not?
behind you.
I think not having some of the, a lot of the XML goals are kind of tied into the scripts, so
You can start your advance.
there is going to be a little bit extra weirdness until those can be
Awaiting your orders.
in the LPs, unfortunately, but
Attacking.
overall I think the galactic behavior is a bit, going to be a bit more consistent in the LP, whereas some of the tactical might still be a little bit weird.
For enemies. In attack position.
Unit
That's
destroyed.
Engaging enemy. Copy.
They call that a
I
defense.
copy. Laying suppressive fire.
Unit
Targeting.
destroyed.
Proceeding to target.
Okay, let's focus on that guy.
Reporting.
Cobble,
Destroyed.
you need to do that too.
Yes, sir. Engaging enemy. Yes,
Where's this guy? Okay, come on.
ready to go. Yes, Commander.
You're very slow. You are just
Form up.
not helping.
Affirmative, sir.
Unit
Target
destroyed.
acquired.
There you go.
Reporting.
Awaiting orders. Scouting.
Oh, shoot. Oh, there's one. It was hiding.
Yes, Commander. On my way, sir. Ready.
Confirmed and compliant. I will crush them.
I anticipate no difficulties.
Okay, so it's just,
They will die.
is this what that's pretty forward, Cobble.
Armor transport
Bombing
ready.
run available.
Commencing attack. Fire.
Okay, there we go.
We
A
are
couple losses
victorious.
there, but they had a pretty heavily defended base, so overall, not the worst. Uh-oh. What the?
Construction complete.
Did they not have the garrison? Okay, so the garrison markers aren't there. That's unfortunate. That's why it was a bit easier. So we can't actually do that tactically. We have to take whatever the auto-resolve thing is because that's just a bug where the map's not set up properly. I'll have to write that down. Means we lose a lot of our ground forces, but there's nothing I can really do in the playthrough for that.
System conquered.
That's frustrating. Oh well.
All head full.
At least we didn't lose Cobble.
Building.
If we lost Cobble in the auto-resolve, I would have just
Tactical battle imminent.
loaded. Ooh, okay, so we're not going to be able to hold... Oh, Jesus, freaking... Oh boy, Hmm. 26, 29 capital, 29 capital ships plus the Unsov. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12, and that's including some Praetors, so pretty outclassed, but not the most. Okay, let's get out of here.
Retreat in progress.
That is such a big fleet. Right, no co-op for us.
Tactical battle imminent. Construction
Ahead
complete.
to that position.
Constructing.
For a second, like when I was doing that, I was like, did the filters break? Why isn't ground working? But then I was like, oh wait, I don't own the planet. That explains it. Alright, so we'll just go for Bandamere.
Construction complete.
Which we know is that one, but I'm gonna see what the actual ground structures they have are again. Alright, so it's not the weakest. Not the strongest either. I feel like getting this loop complete though is a pretty big deal for us. They can
Invasion commencing.
We got our forces weakened a little bit, but we should be able to hold on the ground on most of these planets. Except for Mandalore, so we'll just need to get those markers added for the defending forces or garrison positions. Like, forget which was which, but it's just missing one of those markers.
Roger. Let's move out. Let's go. Keep going. Reporting in. This way. Roger that. Over there. Form up. We've come across enemy units.
Alright, we can get the turrets up. And we're gonna get some free units out of this.
Advancing. Construction complete. Reporting.
They don't have any turbo lasers, which makes this map a lot easier.
Ready, sir.
We can just get over the bridge.
Support order acknowledged. Heavy vehicle factory destroyed.
No, not the heavy vehicle factory we just captured.
There now.
We'll back you up.
We barely knew ye. Okay, let's get the heavy vehicle factory at the back here.
Commencing bombing run.
Choose your reinforcements.
Drop cobble in.
Coordinates received.
Reinforcements cancelled.
Setting course.
Inputting coordinates. Reporting in. Roger that. Coordinates
Alright,
received.
let's head in slowly.
Avoiding
Said slowly. It's just a bunch of
There will be
IFTXs.
nothing left of them.
Lead the way.
I want to make sure we still have most of our stuff when we get up to the AT-AT.
They shall perish. Extinguish the enemy.
We'll check it out.
They will not be a problem.
We'll assist
Attack
you.
Moving to attack.
Acknowledge.
They are no match.
Proceeding.
You may start your approach. I will cover
You know what? Have a good death.
Form up.
Our
You men
base
take the
is
front.
under attack.
Target right away.
You don't have a base.
Follow my lead, sir.
Affirmative.
There we go.
Provide necessary backup. Your orders.
Target confirmed.
Weapons armed. Walker moving to attack.
Unit destroyed.
Take out any stragglers.
Advance.
Keep your eyes on your scanners. Moving out, sir.
I feel like most of our units aren't actually able to shoot this because it's up the hill.
Unit destroyed.
They call that a defense.
Right away.
We're hitting the ground a lot.
Targeting at maximum firepower.
Why is this so strong? We've destroyed plenty of these, and they weren't anywhere near this powerful or defensive.
We are ready to assist.
I will crush them.
Enemy
They will
sighted.
die.
There they are.
Awaiting orders.
Reporting. There will be nothing left of them.
Copy.
Well, I think it's just because it's so close to being underground, it's blocking a lot of the shots. But there we go.
Planetary control achieved.
Let's move this fleet back over here.
Understood.
And we're gonna start. Okay, so what we're gonna do right now is I'm going to get establishing Dark Empire event under construction on Coruscant. There, I'm gonna move these guys over to Hakasi, and I'm gonna keep on building some of our ground forces
Unit in production.
here on Carida and on Brental. So I might wait for these to be finished construction before starting to record the next episode. We'll get into Cutric and Corvus Minor, and we'll try to take out if we can get these 5 planets here, or even up to these 7. It'll be Saturday's episode, so it'll be a bit longer. This one's already fairly long, but that's what we're going to try to focus on, and we should be able to finish constructing Dark Empire. And if not next episode, then it'll be finished the episode after that, because we don't spend a huge amount of time on the galactic map in these episodes. But anyways, that is going to do it for today's episode. So thank you for watching, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the playthrough so far, and I will see you tomorrow.